Set of active recall questions, like the crux of chemistry. 60 pages worth of questions. This is quite small. You'll have mark scheme language in your head. They don't need to take notes. Oi 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 my people, hope everyone's doing well, and I'm not just saying that for the sake of saying it. So if you're here today, then it's probably going to be for that of tuition. Now if I wanted tuition, I would want to know why me, so why this teacher. Now I've had over 900 students on the medicine application process in 2020 to 2021, and I've had lessons with potentially now close to 100 if not over 100 students on Zoom. Now I'm a tutor that only teaches bio, chemistry as well as physics. And you like this animation? Jeez. Now coming from a school by the name of NCS, rated top 1% of the country by Alps in terms of improvement, I have a collection of notes that are from myself as well as other medical students that applied in the same year group as me. On top of that, I have notes from those that are studying at Oxford and Cambridge. So again, that doesn't mean I can teach well. The next part does. Now as per 2020 to 2021, I've had 5 students: Sia, In'am, Tawheed, Muhammad, and one other person that I can't mention due to me honouring confidentiality. Now I'm tutoring all my students on Zoom, and the first 3, Sia, In'am and Tawheed, have applied to medicine at some of the most competitive universities in the UK. Now starting at the beginning of this academic year, one of my students, In'am, has now had 5 months worth of consistent tuition, and within these 5 months we've managed to patch so much content and practice so many exam questions that now he's finished A-level biology, barring one small subtopic, as well as A-level chemistry, in which he's completed, and he needs no more tuition. I'm not a teacher that extends your lessons just so I can fill up my pockets. It's not like that. Furthermore, one last thing before we actually get onto the computer, and I'm going to bring you onto the computer straight after this, is that you never need to show your face in Zoom if you don't want to. It's up to you. Obviously you'll be replying via audio, but you never need to show your face, and I'll never initiate awkward conversation as in like, how's your week, and try to extend the timing that I'm teaching you. No, honestly, my teaching is straight to the point. And with that being said, let's actually get onto the computer. Now at the beginning of the biology session, we have a set of active recall questions that you can see on screen right now. So for example, I'll be asking them very quickly, what's the generator potential? Then quickly let me know. And then I'm going to ask them, write a flowchart to describe what happens in Pacinium capacitol. Remember, these are questions that are generically, now when you go through the whole unit, it's going to have the information you need, and you're not going to require a textbook. And so potentially they may be speaking about sodium voltage gated channels, where it's not necessarily the case in here. It's sodium stretch mediated channels, and the small differences is what is going to make up the mark. So we quickly go through these questions on the I or topic 6 and so on and so forth until they answer a lot of these questions: phosphokeratin, actin, myosin, IAEA, tropisms, and until they're generically going through the whole topic, or we'll try to go through as much as we can in the time allocated. Now once they've finished the session, then I send them the sheet that has the answers. They don't need to take notes, essentially. That's what you need to realize. They need to focus on the concept, and the content will come once you memorize it, and that's what's expected of them. I give them the diagrams, I give them the information, and the thing to pinpoint and understand is that the information that I give them has come directly from exam papers. It's not me making it up. So some of the exam papers date back to that of 2011. So by memorizing what I send you, you'll have mark scheme language in your head, instead of now having to flick through a textbook and trying to decipher between that of which is mark scheme and that of which is simply just the explanation. Once you've understood, you memorize this, and hopefully you have mark scheme language in your head. That being said, we get on to something else. Now having done the active recall questions, now we get on to exam questions, because now you need to apply the knowledge that you have. And I send you all of this at the end of the session, and you can see my screen because I'm screen sharing a lesson. So we carry on, and they're broken into specific unique packs. So if we've covered topic 1 about lipids, then there's going to be a few lipid questions, just so I can see you can apply what you've learned. So we go on so forth, and so on and so forth. So topic 1 has a variety of different question types. So for example, it could be that on ATP that we've covered, and they go through these questions, and they see the similarity between that of which is in the summary sheet and that of which is inside the mark scheme to the question. At the end of every question pack, there's the mark scheme, so they get to mark it. I can go super fast for some of my students, and I can go at a decent pace for some of the others. And again, it's up to you. It's a tailored approach. Now let's get on to chemistry. Now for chemistry, I unpick some of the most difficult concepts when it comes to chemistry, whether that be naming, nomenclature, that's how you want to say it. And so usually we go through the content that's required first and foremost, so you understand on a basic level how the naming goes in this case, but whether it be organic, physical, inorganic, We may go through the mechanisms, the reagents, the conditions, and once you've had a glimpse of what's required, then for example we'll go on to the crux of chemistry. So essentially, per every single topic that's out there on chemistry, I've created a list, and usually I pair the groups together. So for example, I would teach NMR and kinetics first and foremost with some of the information from the pack. Then we get on to questions. Now questions, what we spend the majority of time on. Now I've hand-picked these questions. No one's picked them, I've hand-picked them, and I've tried to progressively start off with moderately difficult questions, and it gets up to some of the hardest questions that you find per topic. Now the reason why we do this is because we have this philosophy that it's only going to get more easy if we go to the hardest questions first and foremost. So you can probably be able to see it starts off very basic and it carries on, and we have a ton of questions, so much so that even after the session you can work on it. And that's what you need. We need this independence of our students, but again we will guide you through some of the hardest questions out there, and again I've handpicked them so that you know how to answer it, and we give you essentially the tricks of the trade of how to approach certain questions, the keyword, different associations that you should be making, and that's about it. Per topic we give you roughly like 60 pages worth of questions. This is quite small. Other packs are like 80, 90, and then it does have the mark scheme in there as well, so you can mark it, and nonetheless it shows you the availability of what you can do if you ask for chemistry tuition. So now let's get on to physics tuition and we'll wrap it up. Now for physics, I explained everything with iPad animation as well as using these mind maps, and with the mind maps they're almost the same as that of with the biology tuition. There's the questions, you try to attempt the question. After attempting the questions with me verbally, then we move on to some of the answers and we unpack what you did not understand. We try to go through 3 or 4 of these topics in a session, and by doing so then we're Gucci. Like, if you've understood the topic, that's very good. Now we get on to what's really good about physics. So now this topic is that of physics momentum practice. Now I've scoured the internet, you could call it scouring the internet, whereby I've looked for some of the hardest questions available. Now it depends on what topic you're doing. Let's just say we're going through topic 1 on scalars, vectors, moments, motion, momentum. Then we'd go on to the physics momentum practice, and I have like 46 pages worth of questions. And some of these questions are the hardest questions that are available online, that I could find, that I done when I was practicing, as well as my students done, and there's always a skill that we highlight in some of the questions. The vast majority of them require you to think about the concept in a different manner. On top of that, then we have end of chapter questions that should be at the bottom, maybe are on another sheet. Again, I send you these questions, I send you the mark scheme, I send you everything that you'd require to smash these questions. And with that being said, let's go and do the outro. So all of that being said, my people, what are you waiting for? Like, potentially you might feel like you might not get the grade, and that's the reason why you don't want to get tuition, as if like it's not going to be worth your time and your investment. Trust me when I say don't worry about the grade you're getting at the moment, because that's going to change big time, inshallah. God willing, that's going to change. So if you're unsure, again still, then have a session, try it out, and I promise you things will change for you. You just need to believe and put in that hard work and have someone there to guide you through the process, like I've done for many of the other students. You know, if I can get some of their reviews, I want to check it at the end of the video, but again, it's up to them if they want to be in my video. And with that being said, my people, you know, contact me on MedShock Instagram or Quinjista Instagram, and we'll organize a session. Peace.